Hi, welcome to my craft room. I'm going to create a card with the bow that I just made in Buttons and Bows, the last video that I made. I have cut a panel of confetti white cardstock that measures 3 3/4 by 2.5, and I've cut that exact same size out of a scrap of paper, and I'm going to make a stencil with this, and I'm going to be cutting the opening. Measures a 1/2 inch on each side and 9/16 at the top and bottom. And 9/16, in case you can't remember, it's just 1/8 of an inch more than a half. So let me show you how to cut that opening. If your blade is not sharp in your cutter, you want to make sure that you replace that before you do this technique. So that you know right where these two little indentations are that extend out, that's where your blade is. So you always know where you're cutting. I'm going to put my finger right where this line intersects here on the left side, and I am going to start in the center, and I am going to work over to that line. And if I keep my finger there, I can see exactly what I'm doing. Then I come back to the center and I work back the opposite direction, putting my finger right where that line is. And there we go. Turn it around. We're going to be doing this to all of our sides. And I've already cut 2 of these edges just to save time. But this makes a wonderful stencil, so that now we're ready to place that onto our confetti white and add our ink. I love working with this dado. It keeps everything right in position. I'm putting it at the top and bottom, matching that up. Then we're going to sponge. I'm taking just a wedge of one of our yellow sponges. And this is well used, but I wash my sponges and reuse them. They get discolored, but they still are usable. Go light-handed. You can always add more, but you can't take it away. You want to start with your lightest color. I'm working with just 2 colors with this, the Baja Breeze, which is what this is. And you can see that's quite light. And I want to leave a light center in this. And this is a small area, so you don't want to overpower this with too much color. And then next, Cherry Cobbler. I'm stamping off to make sure I don't have too strong of a color there. And add just a little at the top, opposite corner. And next, I am going to take the shadow portion of this stamp. There is the outline, and then there's a fill-in. This is the fill-in portion from the Simply Soft Hostess stamp set. And I am going to use this. I think I'll go the other direction with that. And I am going to use this on the left side. I'm going to lift this now, and I am going to do a shadowed effect by pressing down once again. Just adds a real nice background touch. This is the flower that I've chosen to go with from the Simply Soft stamp set. I think that's so delicate. I'm going to be using the imaging sheet, so I'm inking that up to stamp onto this. And just slide that down. And now I am going to remove my stencil off of my focal point of our card. And I am going to position the flower so that it is right to the right side, extending off of my card ever so slightly. And now put my T-square back on my imaging sheet, remove that, re-ink, and the purpose for this is I want to stamp twice. I want this to be a nice bold image. And if you get ink onto your block, just wipe it off before you stamp. Slide that down, press. Now I'm going to stamp it a second time. That makes it much brighter. I have already stamped Friend on my imaging sheet, so I will position that. So I'm going to do the same thing with it. Slide that T-square so that it butts right up onto that arm. And the color that I'm working with here is the Indigo Stamp Friend. Now I'm going to do it a second time. That makes it nice and bold. So when you want a word to really stand out, this is the way to achieve that. I'm going to pick up a little bit of color with my blender pen, and I'm going to take my imaging sheet and just work this color so it waters down ever so slightly. And I'm going to just accent these larger flowers. I want to start off with my colors being pretty faint. I don't want to overpower it. And then I'll go back and just add a little bit more of the watered down color. I have adhered my confetti white panel to a piece of cherry cobbler that measures 4 by 2 3/4. And now we're going to add our scallop dot ribbon. I'm going to take a mini glue dot and put that in the center, make this easy for us. And then position that right where you want it, like so. And now I'm going to put the mini glue dots on each extension. Now when you go to position this, you want to kind of balance this out in this corner. So look at how that you position it on one side and follow through with the other side. Tear that down. Now I'm going to take just a little piece to go across the bottom. Once again, I'm going to use a mini glue dot, put that in the center. Just makes it so much easier because it'll stay right where you want it then. So far, there we have it. I've snipped 2 of my little rhinestones off of this strip of rhinestones, and I'm going to add those just above Friend. Press those on. These come in a long strip, and so you can pull these up and put a whole strip onto your card. And to get them apart, you just want to snip them with your scissors. Next, I have cut a panel of the Baja Breeze 4.5 by 3 1/4, and I'm going to take my sponge and just work my way around the edges. And then I have cut a panel of Island Indigo 5 1/8 by 4. And this is such a nice deep embossing. This is the vintage wallpaper, and I've embossed this with the perfect polka dot embossing folder. And when you adhere these, you want to use a really good adhesive, and the multi-purpose glue is the one to use because that will cause it to really stick, or red line tape. The snail just does not hold this together. It's too deep of an embossing. So let me get those adhered together. Got this all adhered together, confetti white 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 folded. I want to show you the first card that I created that I was going to be teaching you, not realizing that this fast and fabulous 2-step stamping set had been discontinued. You can see I went a little bit darker on my sponging in that one. Also, I did a knot versus the bow. Originally, this is the card that I made using this stenciling technique. I made this last fall, and I wanted to bring something a little bit more bright and cheery. Hope you've enjoyed this technique. Click on the link below the video to go to my website. There you'll see all the materials that have been used to purchase. Click Shop Now at the top right. Thank you so much. Till next time.